So we're gonna be making some vines. Yeah. I want to try to do just geometry node vines, just vines using geometry nodes. And then I'd also like to try, if I can, I'd like to try to figure out grease pencil curves and try to get grease pencil curve vines going on with geometry nodes. So that's what we're going to do this week. I think the best place to start is probably just by making some leaves. Yeah, so making the leaves was actually one of the simpler parts of this. It's really just taking a plane, squishing it around, so you get a leaf shape, and then vertex painting it. Look like a leaf. I just do a whole bunch of... So I've never figured out how to change the brush with vertex painting. So I just layer colors until it sort of looks smooth, and then let shaders take care of the rest. Yeah, turns out looking pretty good. That's a pretty dang good looking leaf. I'm gonna go back and lower the roughness on these guys. Alright, we're back. That was unfortunate, but we're back. So now we gotta take this leaf and put it on some vines. Let's go back to layout. Get a... yeah, we can do a curve. Make new geometry nodes. Curve to points. Instance on points. Into the instances. Into the join geometry. And do a rotation. Plug the rotation into the top. Do local. And then we can get a random value. Set that to vector. Set these to tau, 2 pi again. Set this seed. And we can increase the count. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I'm pretty happy with how those look. I don't even think we need to work on like a vine core, really. I mean, it's kind of just unnecessary. You can't even see it past the leaves. Wish you could set curve depth in geometry nodes after the fact. That'd be nice. Okay, I guess I could literally just remove the modifier and then set the curve depth. Let's just do like wire. That way it's just got like a black wire running through it, you know? Guess I can set it to like a dark green maybe. Sort of like how you'd find it in the store. That's nice. Cool. Alright, I'll be back when I figure out the grease pencil part. And we'll do the second part of the video then. So I guess it's pretty easy to do the grease pencils to curves thing. Basically what we gotta do is we gotta go to edit, preferences, get extensions, and then we're gonna do grease pencils to curve right here. Install. Once it's installed, then we can go to add-ons, then we can go to grease pencil to curves. Oh, and it's automatically on. Very nice. If this isn't automatically on, just make sure you check that box. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to add a grease pencil blank, and this will let us draw, so we can switch to draw mode. We can make sure that it's set to drawing on surfaces. Another nice thing to have on is auto merge, and then under advanced, or under stroke actually, make sure smooth is set to 1 and stabilize stroke is turned on. And then you can just start drawing on the surfaces. And what auto merge will do is when you end a line and then start again, it'll merge those lines together like that. Let's actually increase this offset a little bit. And then when we draw on the surface, you can see that the line is sitting away from the surface. That's what the offset does. Go back to object mode, and then we can go to the grease pencil to curves, convert grease pencil to curves, and it actually leaves our original grease pencil, so we can go back and edit it if we want. But what we do with this curves is we can give it a geometry nodes modifier and set it to the vines. Look at that. Oh, this count is way too high. Keyframes, that's good. See how it looks? Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Very nice. Alright, I can already see some places where it needs a little bit of work though, like right here where it curves around. Not quite showing through the surface. The displacement is covering it up. But that's my own fault. I just didn't account for the displacement. And then in here you can see where there's a line break. There is a gap in the vine. I was thinking it might cover it up, but quite. And then same thing on the floor here with the displacement. Yeah, I can just adjust those offsets and then that'll be good. Cool. Alright, I'll be back with a render.